Nike used to help me a lot, says Zacchaeus. But now I see her only once a month at the new moon. I would have liked to follow her, but Jericho is favourable to my new work. She will not stay long in Jerusalem, Jesus says. You would move for no time. Afterwards, Nike will come back here. After how long, Lord? After my kingdom has been proclaimed. Your kingdom. I am afraid of that moment. Will those who now say that they are faithful to you be able to be so then? Because there will certainly be risings and struggles between those who love you and those who hate you. Do you know, Lord, that they engage even highwaymen, the scum of the people, to have followers ready to form a large mass and thus impose themselves on others? I was told by one of my poor brothers, "Oh, is there much difference between him who steals lawfully, between him who steals somebody's honour, and him who robs a wayfarer? I also used to steal lawfully until you saved me, but even then I would not have countenanced those who hate you." It was a young man, a thief. Yes, a thief. One evening, when I had gone towards Adumim, awaiting 3 peers of mine who were coming from Ephraim with some cattle purchased at a low price, I found him lying in wait in a gorge. I spoke to him. I've never had a family, and yet I think that if I had had children, I would have spoken to them thus to convince them to change life. He explained to me how and why he had become a thief. How often the true culprits are those who do not seem to be doing anything wrong. I said to him, "Don't steal any more. If you are hungry, there is some bread for you too. I will find you an honest job. As you've not yet become a killer, stop, save yourself." And I convinced him. He told me that he was by himself, as all the others had been bought over with much money by those who hate you. And now they are ready to foment risings and to say that they are your followers in order to scandalize the people. And they hide in the caves of the Kidron, in the sepulchres, towards the Phasael, in the caves to the north of the town, among the tombs of the kings and judges, everywhere. What do you want to do, Lord? Joshua was able to stop the sun, but by no means whatsoever will they be able to stop the will of God. They have money, Lord. The temple is rich, and the gold offered to the temple is not korban for them if it serves them to triumph. They have nothing. The power is mine. Their building will collapse as if it were built with leaves dried by the autumn winds and shaped into a castle by a little boy. Do not be afraid, Zacchaeus. Your Jesus will be Jesus. God grant it. They are calling us. Let us go. And the vision ends there. But just before I end, you'll notice how that Zacchaeus is informing Jesus about plots against him. And you may have watched the video of mine where I think it's Chusa, Herod's steward, arranges for Jesus to meet some powerful Pharisees and scribes and priests, and they urge him to engage in a rebellion to overthrow Herod and Rome, and they're promising they'll be behind him. They can get forces together to assist him. The people are ready to rise, they say. Well, Jesus sees through it, and he explains exactly what their motivations are. Well, this is an example of what's going on, which is behind the scenes in the gospel. Jesus mentions that only St. John describes it briefly. And he says they wanted to make him king, but he fled from them. And this single sentence in St. John's gospel covers over a whole world of intrigue that's behind the scenes in the gospels. And so the idea is Jesus is proclaimed king, and all these crooks, these villains, will come out and will give the people reason, not particularly to follow Jesus, but also to reject him, because some elements will follow him, but those who are oppressed by these villains will reject Jesus, and eventually the Romans will come in and sweep him away. So the conspiracy is very deep. It isn't just a conspiracy to kill Jesus by getting Pilate put in a corner where he has to order Jesus' crucifixion. There's also the conspiracy that predates that, which is to, through a rising of the people, bring the Romans down upon him. And finally, just to refer to a footnote, when at the last thing Jesus says in this vision, your Jesus will be Jesus. And the footnote is, that is, Saviour. Jesus in Hebrew means Yahweh saves. So Jesus is saying, nobody can stop Jesus being a Saviour.